Goodness gracious.
Me.
Oh my. So here we are. Our very last interview in this series. I know. Stop crying. Let's get through this one. All right, we're going to be doing some new stuff in the future, but I figured we'd end on a bang.
Yeah.
Bringing in Jacus Gompert.
Save the best for last. I see it.
Oh, yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Very much so.
For sure.
I noticed you're shorter today.
It feels weird.
Yeah.
Like, I look up to you in the form of, like, your personality and just how cool you are and just the fact that you can keep a beard. But it does feel weird physically kind of looking up at you.
Kind of
I
looking
don't
up
know.
to you. It's funny, when I was on the couch, I was really looking up to you. Now we're like eye to eye,
I know.
basically.
I know.
It's a little embarrassing for me, but that's okay. Honestly, though, I'd rather be able to keep the beard than be tall.
Yeah.
I think that's more important.
That's
Just
a safe thing to stick
yeah.
with.
Well, maybe you'll be able to keep a beard one day,
Yeah.
depending on what you choose to do. But we'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to start off with a little activity. Now, here's the deal. We had a very intense competition last week.
I'm still coming down from that.
I know. It was just being in this room again here in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona.
I can see my house from here.
Yeah, there it is. Brings back just the joy of that competition. I don't think we can beat it. I honestly do not think. I was racking my brain thinking we could do, what's that game where you got the guy, there's water on the knee, you gotta like take the things out.
Operation.
I was thinking we could do some massive operation, but then I realized you're a medical professional. I'm just setting myself up for failure.
No.
Although you did lose the dentist game.
I sure
is
did.
Also a medical professional.
Yeah.
It's interesting that all these games have to do with medical professions.
Yeah. You would think if you play that game and got really good at it, maybe you can do for real.
Yeah, like you get
But
like
I
a
don't think it
certificate and be
translates
like,
over.
you are now a crocodile dentist.
Yes.
Like,
I made
for
it.
reals. That'd be
I
awesome.
made it.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, I'd put that on a resume.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
Yeah.
With a picture.
With a
That'd be
picture.
cool. With my victory tooth. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But we're not going to do that.
Oh, bummer.
I want to know a little bit more about you, Jake Gompert.
What's about time?
We know each other very well, but there have always been these things about Jake that I don't know, that I want to know.
Okay.
And I figure, being on camera, you're like obligated to answer these questions now.
Yeah, that's intense.
I know.
You're building this up.
I am. Intentionally. Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Why are you nervous?
I don't know.
Interesting. We're going to have a little segment called Rapid Fire.
Whoa.
Yep. I'm going to rapid fire questions at you.
Oh, man.
I'm only going to give you 14 seconds to answer each one.
Do we have a stopwatch or
we're
are you just going to count it?
Put it up on the clock.
Nice.
Up there somewhere.
Cool.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I guess as ready as I'm going to be.
Question number 1. You've been given an elephant. You can't give it away. You cannot sell it. What would you do with the elephant? Go.
Keep it. Be a great pet. Ride it. I'd probably ride it to work.
You'd ride it to work.
Why not?
Prince Ali. Yeah, that would
exactly.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'd name it Abu.
Hey, that makes sense. Put a little fez on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's
Don't
a
know
great
what
answer.
Fez is. Is it like a hairy Pez?
It's yeah, Fez is hairy Pez. Yep. For the record, if you pull Pez out of a Pez dispenser and it's hairy, don't eat it.
Toss
because
it.
that's not a Fez.
It's probably some form
That's
of mold.
gross. Yeah, that's really bad.
Don't do it.
Second question.
Okay.
If you were a tree,
Okay.
what kind of tree would you be and why?
What type of tree I'd be? I'd be a oak tree. No, cottonwood. I like cottonwood.
Okay, I need to know why why did you immediately leave oak tree to choose cottonwood as if it was clearly the better answer?
Because it is. So oak tree, they're dense. Probably. I mean, you can make a lot with it.
Probably.
But a cottonwood, being here in the desert, like when the cotton actually comes out, it feels like it's snowing.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of one of those things that, you can feel like, oh, the seasons are changing, but really it's just
But
a lot
really
of pollen.
just cotton and pollen.
Just horrible
That's awesome.
amounts.
The
Yeah.
closest thing we have to snow,
Mhm.
besides
Pollen.
dandruff,
Yeah.
because that's fun too.
It is.
Cool.
It's a
Third
different
question.
way, though.
We finish this interview.
Awesome.
You step outside in 30, 40 hours. You step outside. and find a lottery ticket that ends up winning you $10 million, what would you do with that $10 million? 14 seconds on the clock.
First off, I would get a truck. I would buy a truck, probably cash, I think. Then I'd probably put the rest in savings. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'd buy a house.
Savings,
There
on.
is multiple drum sets that I would have to get right off the bat.
There we go. Okay.
Then probably just random stuff that I would eventually be really upset that I bought.
Yeah.
And then try to return them and like, you can't return
Like a snow machine.
Yeah,
that
just
doesn't work well in Yuma. You're like, look, neighbor's snow. Oh, it's melting immediately.
I'll just get the cotton from my cottonwood and just
You'll buy a bunch of
spread it.
cottonwood trees. You have a cottonwood tree.
I want a plantation of cottonwood.
I'm harvesting cottonwood for your snowy enjoyment. Wow.
I can make
Bringing
mittens.
winter to Yuma.
I know.
Make winter great again in Yuma.
That's true.
That's
true with
amazing.
cottonwood.
Oh my goodness. That sounds awesome.
That's a lot of money though.
That is the best.
Like,
it is a lot of money.
I feel like after a while you would just like, I don't know what to get anymore.
Yeah.
Like after you buy a house or something and it's like, well,
It's true.
I'm kind of running out of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. The correct answer was you were going to talk to Kate about it.
Oh.
Yeah, but you missed that opportunity, and now you're in trouble.
Well,
Maybe she won't watch the interview.
She's not here. So if
That's
I found
true.
that ticket, I could just bank it, and then she would just wonder where all this money's coming from.
Perfect. She'd probably just be like, you're
Yeah.
just a rich firefighter.
True.
I'm making those millions.
There's very few of those out there. But I guess so.
If you have a cottonwood forest, it makes a lot more sense.
It does.
Next question. If you had to be shipwrecked on a deserted island, but all of your human needs, such as food and water, physical needs, were taken care of, what 2 items would you want to have with you?
I'm gonna go with Kate and Marshall. That's 2 items.
Did you just objectify Kate and Marshall?
Not Kate. Marshall.
He's kind of a
feel like
possession.
he kind of is.
Yeah.
He's kind of a moocher right now, really.
He is a moocher.
But I love him. But I would want them.
That's cool.
On the desert island.
That was a good answer.
What
You're
about
trying
a
to make
dessert
up for the
island?
last
I really
answer.
am. You know me too well.
You're like the answer is Kate
Like,
and
hold on.
Marshall.
How can I
every
work
time.
this? How can I work this into Kate and Marshall?
That's awesome.
Since I failed before, apparently.
So, but then no, we didn't say anything about their physical needs. So then you would only have enough food and water for one person. What would you do?
Kate doesn't eat much.
Okay.
So I think we could ration and like sustain for at least a while.
Okay.
How long are we on this island?
10 million years.
Welcome to the future.
Is there at least one cottonwood?
There's one cottonwood
Then
on the
we're
island.
fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You could survive on cottonwood.
Yeah, and bark.
And bark?
Probably. It's
Yeah.
medicinal and food. I don't know.
Probably.
Probably. Don't fact check this.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
not an
don't go to the
expert on-
cottonwood forest that Jake owns out in the counties
and just start
just
eating it.
rubbing bark
Don't-
on your face to
Yeah.
get rid of like acne and stuff.
Yeah,
Don't do it. It doesn't
probably
work.
wouldn't.
I tried.
Yeah. The little disclaimer: do not rub
Do not.
cottonwood bark on you.
No.
And
There
hope
we
for the
go.
best.
Hey, the more you know.
Yeah.
Next question. Why is a tennis ball fuzzy?
Well, obviously, it has to be fuzzy. It went
Obviously.
through puberty at one point, and then it just got the fuzz.
Yep.
And it just liked it, so it kept it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. Either that or Kermit made it.
Is it kind of like a Wilson Castaway situation with Kermit and the
Yes.
tennis ball? Like tennis ball. Yeah.
Oh no.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good Kermit.
That's the only time I can ever do it.
So if I asked you to do it again, you'd be like,
No. I
okay,
can't do it.
that's fine.
No.
We'll get a Kermit impersonator next time.
Mhm.
If you were a box of cereal, what would you be and why?
Ooh. I'd go with Captain Crunch. Like the
Nice.
original Captain Crunch. No, none of those berries and none of that. Just the original
Yeah.
Captain Crunch.
Did the original Captain Crunch not have any crunch berries in it?
No, not that I remember.
Wow.
I think it was later on,
Ugh.
as they matured, that they added berries in there.
Okay.
Because they wanted to be more healthy, so
Okay.
adding fruit and berries into
Yeah,
Captain
it's
Crunch.
so much more healthy.
Yeah, it's like food coloring and a lot more sugar. And
Let's
we
put
have
more
this, yeah.
sugar balls in here.
Yep.
Food coloring. Perfect.
It's awesome.
Now-
and it sold really well.
It did. Oh man, I
But
got
yeah,
it every
I'd
time.
go with the original.
So that people would have to salute you?
Yeah, I would want them to call me Captain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Captain Crunch Jake.
Yeah. It has a ring to it. It really
Captain
does.
Jake.
Mm-hmm.
The crunchy Captain Jake.
The crunchies.
The
The
crunchiest.
crunchiest.
The crunchiest. I like
crunchiest.
that. That's nice.
That's a crunchy
That's
guy.
so nice. I'm going to start calling you Captain Jake. All
I
right.
love it.
Next question. How does the internet work?
I seriously don't know. That's beyond my. There's like some form of being that lives in some satellite,
Okay.
and then you like get on your phone or something like that, or let's say a laptop,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like beep boop 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 boop, and it sends it.
That's the noise my
and
laptop
then
makes.
He will translate the beep boop boop boop
Okay.
into what restaurants are near me, and then he just sends it right back to you.
That makes sense.
That's the best thing I can think of. Now,
So-
don't even get me
so,
started
like-
on Wi-Fi.
The Lord of the Internet in the satellite,
Yeah.
beep beep booping, translating. Okay.
Like I see some Iron Man dude out there, just
Wow. Okay.
like he can just do it all and just flies around the
Wow,
Earth, almost like a satellite.
man, that's fantastical.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I have to imagine that's probably how it works.
I
I can
would
think of no better solution.
I would be disappointed if it's not how it worked.
Yeah, maybe it's best not to look into it. I guess.
No,
No, Al Gore
No.
sitting in his basement. All right.
of course.
Tell me 3 things you can do with a pencil other than write.
You can drum with pencils.
Nice.
You can sharpen them,
Okay.
and you can do magic tricks. You can like use them as wands.
Really?
Yeah, and if you have a lot of them, you can create bridges to withstand the weight of like eggs. I remember doing that in school. Like
Why do eggs need bridges?
I don't know. They need to get from point A to point B. What if you have to traverse this huge valley?
Yeah.
As an
Huge
egg.
valley.
You
Yeah.
can't fly.
No, that's
So
true.
you
Eggs
have
don't
to
fly.
roll. You know, I mean, you can't even really walk. So you
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
yeah.
construct
Yeah.
through the help of a person
Wow.
some type of bridge out of. Let's see. You could do pencils,
Uh-huh.
straws.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I remember straws. Straws don't work that well.
No.
Pencils are a little bit better.
Pencils work. What else works? Would toothpicks work?
Yeah, you would need a lot of those
Okay.
though. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be
Wow.
too time consuming.
Man, I feel like you spent a lot of time on that. Like thinking about it,
Well,
practicing
when
it.
you're me, this is stuff you think about. So these are questions
That
I've
makes
asked
sense.
myself multiple times.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
How does the internet work?
So, if I were an egg and I had to get across,
A deep valley
Huh.
or chasm. How would I construct my
How-
bridge?
you know what? Pencils.
Pencils.
That
Pencils
is-
will do.
That is the best
And then you
thing.
just bring extra for drumming.
Yep. So when you're doing it,
Whip whip.
build a bridge.
There it is.
Mhm.
You got a free song out of that. You're welcome. Last one. And this is probably by far the most difficult question.
They've all been just
Significantly colorful.
Okay.
If a plane was filled with Skittles and you had to empty it as fast as you can, how would you do it?
I would enlist the help of the Hulk and bust open the back of the plane and just send all the Skittles out.
Wow.
Now the question is, where are we flying over?
Oh, that's true.
Because if it's in like a lake, that lake would look really colorful.
That would be cool.
If all those Skittles came in. It reminds me of those commercials for
Oh.
Skittles, like the rainbow.
Oh
and, like,
yeah,
all the
it's
Skittles
rainbow
and
and
all
they
that
fall.
stuff.
You always wonder about that. Like that's kind of like Skittle pollution, right? I mean,
It
it's
really
like
is.
getting all over the forest
Yeah.
and all like the centipedes and stuff
Who's
are like,
gonna
what's
clean that
this?
up?
And then they're like, we
Yeah.
can't survive on Skittles. It's bad for the environment.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's horrible marketing.
Wow. Let's just say that this one is over some very safe location.
Okay.
The plane is going over, a big lab where
Okay.
there's no ecosystem or anything to worry about. So we
Okay.
can wipe our consciences clean
Okay.
about that.
Yeah, I would.
The Hulk,
I would then, enlist his.
not the
help. I would
Kool-Aid
say-
Man.
No.
No,
No,
You're the one that,
Kool-
oh yeah, out
I
of the
think
back of the plane. You
Since
want
he
Hulk to
is
just-
part sugar, he would feel bad about
Oh,
killing off, or
wow.
not killing. Let's not say that.
Yeah, the
Let's
Skittles
say-
are dying. Oh my goodness.
I guess they are.
Wow,
And it's-
we're peeling back layers here.
we really are. But I can see him being kind of upset about
Okay,
it.
yeah,
Hulk, he doesn't really
Yeah,
care.
yeah,
And I would save a few of
Ah,
them.
that's true.
Let's say a couple thousand
Okay,
for myself for
a
later.
couple of thousand.
That will be given
That's
away.
a lot of Skittles.
No, not really.
What does a couple thousand Skittles look like? What
Do you think
that
they would fill this room?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't think so because they're pretty small.
Yeah.
It would probably at least be a couple layers, right, on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine. So everywhere you walk, you just be squishing
Yeah.
Skittles.
Yeah.
Squishing Skittles. That's a cool band name
That's
too.
another band name.
Trying to come up with a cool band name,
Yeah.
Squishing Skittles.
Squish and Skittle. What was the other one?
I can't remember what the other one was. What was the other
Intense Popcorn.
one? Intense Popcorn. That's right. Intense
Yeah.
Popcorn. That's a
Mhm.
good one.
Intense Popcorn by the band. Squish and Skittles.
It goes together.
Man,
Oh my
this
goodness.
is exactly how
This is
purple dragon
amazing.
sprinkles came to
This
be.
is pretty much it. Except we don't have a dictionary.
We don't. Or a doggy toy.
Or a doggy toy. Oh man, good stuff. Everybody watching at home is like, what is going on? What is wrong with that fellow Jake? He's crazy.
They haven't figured it out now.
Oh my
They
goodness. Never will. You're right. All right. Man, those are good answers. I wasn't really sure where those were going to go, but we definitely covered many topics. The Lord of the Internet and the satellite.
Those were good.
Not killing Skittles, falling from thousands of feet.
Replacing them.
Replacing it. Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So along the same lines as those questions,
Sure.
When did you become a Christian?
Great segue.
The greatest.
The greatest. Really, I've been a Christian as far back as I can remember. I was baptized at First Christian Church when I was about 5 years old. Yeah, at the old campus on 26th Place.
Mm-hmm.
My dad actually baptized me, which is awesome. I was baptized the same time as my sister. We did it kind of at the same time, which was really awesome.
It's kind of like a holy pool party then.
Yeah, in a way.
The whole family was
yeah,
there.
The whole family.
Yeah. It was the baptismal up in the front of the sanctuary.
Yeah, the front to the left.
Left,
Yep.
yeah. That was a cool baptismal.
Like,
It was very
came down,
visible.
and then, like you circled, like came around.
It was
like,
big
cool.
too.
Yeah.
It was a pretty.
Yeah,
It was like a little pool.
It was like a lagoon.
Yeah.
And you just
or a
like, came
lagoon.
around.
That's gross. You're like, I
was
can't
a
see the
lagoon.
bottom of this pool. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's the one here is being cleaned way better than that one.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But yeah, so around that time is when I, as a kid, I was baptized. And so I remember going to church and kind of just following my parents' lead for the majority of my life, up to the point that I started really figuring out what it meant more to me, and kind of taking more of an active role in trying to figure out what my relationship, what my relationship was with God, and what it meant to me, instead of just kind of following, okay, it's Sunday, we're going to do this, and my parents do this, so I'm going to do this. But actually coming across like situations at school or conversations with people that kind of made me question certain things, or made me kind of focus on figuring everything out for myself, which, I mean, you never can figure everything out, but to kind of search for answers for questions and issues that I had. And there was a lot of people that were a huge influence and a good resource to have. Like my dad was huge for me. Your
youth pastor, Dustin.
Yeah, which at that point you weren't my youth pastor.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Yeah. And just kind of, doing that. And it's interesting how, for those of us that were young when we got baptized, and we kind of going through our walk with Christ, we tend to, like, our relationship tends to change over time, which is true with most relationships,
Yeah.
It just kind of evolves and just kind of keeps on going. I feel like people that just kind of stop and try to maintain a relationship, they're like, I'm going to keep this right here, and don't allow it to kind of grow, and don't allow like questions to come and like things so that you can really research it and figuring it out, then that relationship becomes stagnant, and then you don't end up growing. And I think that's something that God encourages. I have the idea that we are meant to ask questions and like trying to figure out what it means to us, and because God loves us. It's apparent in the Bible, but He doesn't want to just pigeonhole us into, you will love me and follow me. He wants it to be genuine, and so part of that is asking questions and trying to figure it out and search and seek Him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just kind of how my walk with Christ has gone. It kind of comes up and down. I question some things, and even now it's, I have to kind of dig myself out of certain pitfalls and things like that, but it's ever growing.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that speaks to the fact that a lot of us who become Christians young in life, when we end up, moving away from home, we end up going to college, we graduate from high school, we're out of the youth group, we're out of the kids programming, a lot of us fall away.
Yeah.
A ton of students fall away when they move off to college, and I think that they don't hear that message enough, that it's okay to doubt, it's okay to struggle.
Yeah.
It's okay not to know what your relationship with Jesus is supposed to look like, because you're figuring it out, and it takes time. And there's all these steps. that it takes to get to the next part,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're right. I mean, we never get to a certain point where we're like, well, I mastered it.
Right.
That's it. I can move on to the next. Now I can learn guitar. Sweet.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Step 2.
Step 2. Learn drums.
Learn drums.
Yeah. So that's incredibly valuable, and I think that would be a very good thing for our current seniors and future seniors to keep in mind. Totally looked at Josh behind the camera, by the way. Because that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Allow yourself room to struggle and to ask questions and to think and reason through things.
Yeah, especially when you start going out and kind of figuring out your life in general.
Yeah.
Apart from your parents or apart from your support system. It's scary. It's there's so much going on, so much change that you kind of have to adapt and figure out what you're doing in general. Yeah. But having that foundation with your relationship with God that is starting to change a little bit or trying to figure it out, having that foundation helps carry you through for a lot of those changes in life issues and things like that are coming up. It's not if, it's when certain situations will come up that will make you really focus and come back to God, that are challenging and hard and all that stuff, because life doesn't get easier the older you get. It gets harder and harder.
More complicated. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So speaking of complicated, there's something that I've known about you, but I didn't fully realize it, I think, until this week when I was preparing for this interview.
Wow.
And that is the fact that you are a PK. You're a pastor's kid. You don't even know what a PK is? You're like a PK.
PK.
Pretty cool.
I didn't. What is that?
Is it
kindergarten
right
now?
Preschool? What? Is it showing? It is a little bit.
Yeah.
You got that beard kind of coming out.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, scraggling.
Just let it go. Just let it happen.
Let it go.
You're a pastor's kid.
I
am.
Yeah.
That has to be fascinating, especially to be a PK when your dad is the P, the pastor.
Yeah, I would imagine.
We're imagining the P from VeggieTales. Right
Yeah,
now. That's what I imagined, but with your dad's like mustache and stuff. It was funny. I'm gonna have to see if I can work that out in Photoshop.
Yes.
What was challenging about being a PK, if anything?
Well, I didn't really even think about it in those terms. I didn't think of myself as a PK, but now I can see it.
Yeah. Explains a lot.
It does. I really didn't understand it, or it didn't notice anything when I was young. When I was young, I was just going with everything and just playing with my friends and with Miss Kathy and all that stuff and just kind of going along with it. But then as I got into junior high and especially into high school, when people found out that I was a Gompert, they're you're Les's boy, or you're Les and Jules' kid, because they were very highly involved in the church. They have been since as far back as I can remember. And there was always this I am, but I mean I'm Jake. I'm doing this or that. I'm volunteering here or there. And after a while, it, especially, like I said, junior high, high school, it kind of started to get to me that it's I'm always just going to be
Les's son, Jules' son.
That's when you're an angsty teenager and all that stuff, it got to me. I know, right? I know. It tended to get to me and kind of irritate me, and even now I can't really understand why. It was just of course, I'm their kid.
Yeah.
But for some reason at that time it was something that I struggled with, and that was just a time that I was getting set up with the worship band and getting set up and playing with you guys, and it was a lot was happening and a lot of stuff that I was really excited about, and it felt like I was doing I was involved in ministry. I was doing other things that kind of set me apart from my family, and then somebody would meet me and it's just you're Les's son. And it was just even if they didn't say it like that, it's you're Les's son.
Oh, you're Les's son.
Even if they didn't say it like that, it's still that's how it sounded in my mind. So,
almost cheapened your own decisions and your own kind of path and stuff.
And it's not even I was like wanting the like praise or anything like that. It was just like, well, I am, but I'm so much more.
Yeah, you're God's child.
It's true.
Yeah, just like anybody else.
Yeah, so that was the main thing that I can think of that was like a struggle that I would, that's pretty much it.
There's definitely like a cultural thing about PKs and missionaries' kids, MKs. And it's unfortunate because all these expectations I feel like are placed upon them. I'm particularly concerned because of Arlie and Barrett. Like I'm thinking about them growing up with those expectations, and that's not what I want for them. I don't want people to come along and be like, oh well, that's just your dad, so and you should do this or do that.
I can see that, and automatically think that they are as knowledgeable or as involved or anything like that. Like,
well, they're going to be way better than me in general. Overall, I'm sure, but
I feel like all of our kids are going to be better than us.
That's kind of the point, right?
Yeah, you pass it on.
Lift our kids a million better. Yeah, give them a stronger
I wonder why
relationship.
it's so hard to lift Marshall. He's really smart.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He's just a dense kid, like an oak,
or a cottonwood,
or a cottonwood.
Yeah. We're gonna come back to that.
Yes, we are. Absolutely.
I knew it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So that's pretty much the main thing I can think of.
How old were you when your dad and your mom? Well, how old were you when your dad started working in the church, whether it was like part-time, full-time, or whatever? Do you remember when you like started?
Started. It was. I mean, it's been a long time. That like I said, being involved. But as far as working, it was after 2002 for sure.
Okay.
Because we moved back. We moved back to Yuma in 2002, and
from Antarctica.
Very close. Yeah. Very close. San Diego.
Actually. Yeah. Same difference.
Yeah. You
super cold.
Yeah, exactly. But we moved back in 2002, and about a year later or so, I'm horrible with time frames. Just so you know. Like to me, if I hear 10 years ago, I'm still thinking the 90s.
I know.
It's horrible.
A
decade ago.
That's a problem when you live through the 90s. The 90s were awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
They were always 10 years ago.
Awesome. But about a year later, my dad got started in going to college and going and getting his degree online, and it took a little bit of time after that. But then he got set up doing the children's ministry with Rick. And it just kind of went from there and just kept on growing and
crazy.
Growing. So by then I was already 2002 I was a sophomore in high school, and then so by the time I was already pretty much a senior when that type of stuff happened. If my timeline is correct, like I said,
it could be 10 or 12 or 20 years off.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Ballpark.
Who knows?
Sometime in the 2000s. Just in the
2000s.
Ballpark.
Oh man, what year were you born, Josh?
2002.
Oh.
Whoa! That's crazy.
Wow.
I was a junior. Wow, that's oh man.
Wow.
Let's a moment of silence for our gray hair.
It's coming.
Moving on. What do you do for a living? Not that I'm asking for myself, but I'm asking for everyone else.
You say you know me.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, so well.
Yep. I know that you're a Teletubby impersonator.
Only on the weekends.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
So what's your full-time job?
I'm off of work right now.
That's too bad.
So I am a firefighter, EMT with the City Yuma Fire Department.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did you always want to be a firefighter? Were you one of those kids running around in a firefighter hat when you're like 4 and be like, I want to be a firefighter? Or did that happen some other time, like when you were 16, you were running around in a firefighter hat saying, I want to be a firefighter?
Neither, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, growing up, for the longest time, I thought I was going to be a cop. Actually,
really?
We were living in Kansas City at the time, and there was this place called Exchange City, and it was an awesome field trip that you went for the day with your class and a couple other classes, and it's a warehouse that's set up as a little city.
Wow.
So there's shops and stuff, and you get like a credit card book, or not a credit card book, a checkbook, and things like that.
Super cool.
You pay with that stuff. We all were given jobs. And there's certain jobs that you can like go in, apply for, and just sign up for.
Cool.
But there were like three jobs that the teachers had to vote who they wanted.
Oh wow!
And those 3 jobs were like the mayor, the judge, and then the police officer.
Oh wow!
And I was voted to be a police officer.
You were the arm of the law.
I was, and it was awesome rules like don't step on the grass and like the other things like shoplifting, all that stuff. But you don't figure a 5th grader is gonna.
It's gonna be stealing from fake city.
But it was like Like, there was fake grass in the center, so you had to walk on the sidewalks, and if somebody crossed the grass, then I could arrest them.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Like, get down. And actually, I arrested the judge.
What?
Yeah, she broke the law, and I busted her for it.
Oh
and
my goodness.
It was awesome.
You are just...
I know.
Wow.
Don't get anything by
you
me.
are passionate about the law.
I was. And even before that, I liked the idea of being a police officer. And I think it came from, like, some of the movies. Like I
like Die Hard?
Picture...
John McClane?
I'm McClane. No, it actually like Men in Black and stuff like that. Like, I was like, I know they're not necessarily...
I want to police the galaxy.
That's right. I just want to wear the suit.
I just want the suit.
And the mind memory messer upper thingy.
Yeah.
That was like what I wanted.
Did you carry around like a disposable camera with the flash enabler, just like kick boop people?
Actually, I think I had a toy from like Burger King when they were like plastic,
Yes!
and it like slid out and it was like a little boop.
That's cool.
It probably didn't even light up.
That's
90s,
cool.
you didn't have
all
that
these kids watching right now. The students are like disposable camera, Burger King toys. I'm confused.
It didn't have an
90s?
LED.
It's crazy.
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 But so after a while, I was like, I really got into it. I thought, that's kind of what I was going to do. And through high school, I was still thinking about what I wanted to do. I know back then I knew I didn't want to just go right into college after high school. I wasn't one of those kids that really wanted to just, go to college because I didn't know really what I wanted to do. So as time was going on, I really started to talk to a lot of police officers that were at the church and kind of try to get set up with what I needed to do, like my next steps. And it was just an uphill battle. Like every person I talked to would give me the wrong information, and then I would talk to another person that then told me that I was completely wrong, and like I kept on trying to call and set up meetings, and it was hard. It was like I was working against the wall.
How did you preface those questions though? Did you go to them saying like, how can I get to the point where I get to arrest the judge? That's all I want to do.
That's probably why I was given
That's
that
probably why.
we don't want this kid.
we don't
want this kid.
No, just kidding.
No,
it was tough. It was a struggle.
It was. And it was like questions like I'm interested in it. Can I set up a ride time, or can I just come in and just ask you more questions? Yeah. And it was just seemed like I wasn't getting through. But then I was at the church one Sunday, and I knew at the time the drummer that was downstairs, John Whitson. I knew he was with the fire department. And I had a weird random question for him. It was like something, the farmer fields, when they burn them. Like, does the fire department know of, do they have to inform you? Or is like just a silly little question. And he answered, and he said, if you have any other questions, come by the firehouse and I'll give you a little tour and answer the questions. And so then a couple days later, I went, I set up a time to go there, and I was like, if nothing else, I've never really been in a fire station, so I might as well. And so station tours usually take like 15 minutes, 20 minutes at tops. I was there for like 4 hours. Just like, I was like, this is like a cool job. This is awesome. And then I set up a ride time with their engine, and I was there for like 12 to 13 hours one day, just enjoying it.
That's
and
cool.
The second I kind of started to learn more about it and kind of reach out and see about what I needed to do, it wasn't easy because it is a hard academy. It's physically, mentally, it is challenging, but it seemed easy. It was just it wasn't the uphill
felt
battle.
Natural.
It just felt like it was right, and so cool. I took that kind of as a little sign that that's probably what I was needing to do, or probably was going to be doing.
Wow.
At least in the meantime. I mean, who knows what the future holds, but it is just one of those things that I'm still enjoying it. So
it's cool.
Stick with it for now.
Yeah. So what would you suggest? Because I don't think that your situation is completely unique in the sense that a lot of young people are like, I mean, you're unique, but you're. So I think that a lot of students struggle with the idea that maybe they don't want to go to college, or they don't know what they would want to do if they went to college, and they don't want to spend the money without having some direction.
Yeah.
What would you advise to students who aren't really sure what they want to do as a vocation when they get out of high school and kind of move forward and stuff?
I would definitely suggest talking to adults in different jobs, different career fields, and we, especially for the youth here at the church, are in a very unique and awesome situation because there are so many of us youth coaches and people in the church that can set them up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you have any interest in doing this, even if I don't personally do it, I could probably find somebody to give you information.
Yeah.
Same thing with you or Megan, Kate, all of us. But if it's something that you're kind of someone interested in, then just talking to people that actually do it is a huge way to start. I was the same way that when I went out of high school, I didn't want to spend all this money just to go straight into college.
Yeah.
And I think that, like you said, it is a very common thing. Kids don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like even more and more, it seems like the just standard college degree is kind of coming back a little bit. I feel like the trade schools are actually being pumped more.
Yeah, I think so.
Electricians, plumbers, they're constantly working, and it's a good career field in those type of things.
Yeah, there was a heavy emphasis on college for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of trades that are lacking individuals now who know how to do things and whatnot.
Yeah. So that's my main advice, is talk to people that do it, and don't limit yourself to I'm going to do this at step by step just because that's what everybody else does. Kind of think outside the box and think about what you're good at, some of your skills. I knew I did not want to be behind a desk, and so that was one of the things that was just
And yet last week you were very excited to be behind this desk.
I was
interesting.
Well, if my job's just to interview you, I could do that all the time. So yes, I was excited about that desk. But from a 9 to 5 behind a desk, on the computer, as you can tell, I am not computer illiterate. Since I think Iron Man is doing something in the sky with our internet.
With our internet, yes.
That was kind of one of my starting off points. Like, what jobs won't put me just behind a desk from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday?
Cool. So kind of knowing yourself, knowing your skills,
Yeah.
what God has kind of imbued you with.
Yep.
And that's very cool.
And the schedule for the fire department really worked well for me. We work 24-hour shifts, and they kind of rotate, so I'm not off the same days all the time, but it's a revolving schedule, so I can look at my schedule and know what days I'm going to be off. But working 24 hours gives me full days off instead of working 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and then just getting the weekend. And I have multiple days to work with the youth. I have multiple days where it's just me and Marshall at home while Kate's at work, and that's time that I absolutely love.
And most people don't really get that time.
No, and it's too bad. I absolutely love my days with Marshall. And then spending time with the days that Kate's off of work, and the three of us can have our full days together. It's just I have a lot of emphasis when families are together. And I just feel like we're blessed in that way that we have multiple days off together.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I just one last question to kind of end on. Your faith. How does your faith interact with your vocation? How does your faith interact with you working as a fireman? How might somebody's faith interact with them working as any number of different career positions?
Sure. I would say you kind of look for areas for that kind of stand out to you in your job. Being in the fire department, you see a lot of pretty negative things on a day-to-day basis. You see kind of the worst in people. You see the times that people are just really struggling. And even if in the middle of a call, I don't just start praying for this person, laying hands on them, that's a no-no. But in my mind, I can just kind of say a prayer, or later on in the day, I can think about the situation and just kind of leave it in God's hands, just on my own. And then with certain career fields, fire department is one of them, military, police, jobs like that. You're surrounded by quite a bit of negativity, and you're surrounded by some individuals that have some strong, some humor and like on the negative side, things like that. And so not being involved in that stuff and realizing, okay, I need to step back from this and go and do something else.
And sometimes I'm sure you can bring it up too. I mean, like you're saying, there's a lot of jadedness probably in those arenas. Yeah. So being able to be kind of a positive and encouraging light in those situations is probably pretty valuable, not only for you but for those around you.
Definitely try to be. But that's true with any job. I mean, even I'm sure in ministry, there's times that it's like, like when you kind of get set up in like the daily thing, you're like, okay, I need to set this up. You almost forget, not that you do, but forget like, oh, we are in ministry. You know, it's like, I'm teaching people about God. And like
you get focused on the job.
Yeah.
And you let the relationship slide, or you let the purpose slide. And you can't do that.
Which is interesting. I mean, you bring that up, that whenever we do service projects, or I've worked with the youth, I am very job oriented. Kate will tell you that. I'm like, you give me something to do, I will just stick
it out.
And it's taken a long time for me to really start thinking of the relationships as apart from, okay, we're here to do this job, we'll just get it done. And realizing, you know, there's people standing around and I'm doing something. And it's like, I could help teach this person and like build up the relationships. Like, this is how you nail a board to a wall.
When you taught me that, I was like, whoa, that's opened up so many possibilities for me. So the hammer goes like that. Yep. And the nail.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's just stuff like that. Building, like you said, building a relationship.
Very cool.
It's huge.
Yep.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet.
Cool. We could keep on going.
We really could, but
I was like, do you want to cut it out like an hour?
I know your dinner's almost ready.
Yeah, I know.
So we better let you go. Thank you so much for joining us for the second week in a row.
So much
fun. I will say I prefer to be here in charge, having full semi-cosmic power. Yep.
We're going back to Aladdin.
We're going back to Aladdin. I feel like we have to keep going back to Aladdin.
We started with elephants and now ultimate cosmic power.
Yep. Itty bitty living space. Yes. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah. And I will say that chair is much better because my back is super sweaty, dude. That's like, it is really bad. With
it's a little toasty in here.
Yeah.
My bad.
So anyway, we'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Right. Well, thank you.
See you guys later. Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So you brought your own mug today.
I did.
I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why you gotta try to show off.
I kind of had to.
No, I don't know.
Because I'm in the short, like, sunk down
you are.
chair.
But
so
now we're eye to eye.
I know, which is really weird.